The magnetic pull of the Sigma male, why younger women are drawn to quiet strength. She leaned in closer, her fingers brushing a loose strand of hair behind her ear as the dim light caught the faint curve of her lips. The air between them hummed with unspoken tension, the kind that lingers just beneath the surface of every glance, every pause. Then, softly, almost as if she was afraid to admit it herself, she whispered, "I don't know why, but something about you just makes me feel safe." And just like that, the younger woman was hooked. But why? Why do younger women, vibrant and full of life, find themselves irresistibly drawn to older Sigma males, men who move through the world with quiet assurance, who neither beg for attention nor demand it? And why, despite this undeniable pull, do they so rarely confess the real reasons behind their attraction? Picture this, a man in his prime, his temples kissed with silver, strides into a room not with the boisterous energy of someone seeking validation, but with the effortless command of a man who knows his worth. He doesn't need to announce himself. He doesn't posture or perform. He simply is, calm in the chaos, steady in the storm. And there, across the room, a younger woman, confident, desired, surrounded by options, feels an inexplicable pull toward him. It isn't his words that captivate her. It isn't grand gestures or empty charm. It's something deeper, something primal. That, my fellow Sigmas, is no accident. What you're witnessing is the convergence of psychology, emotion, and raw, instinctual magnetism. Sigma males operate on a different frequency. They don't chase, they attract. They don't demand respect, they command it. And while the world obsesses over flashy displays of status, these men understand true power lies in silence, in presence, in the unshakable certainty of a man who needs no external validation. But here's the kicker, the part most men miss. There are certain things younger women crave hearing from Sigma males, phrases that ignite their curiosity, dismantle their defenses, and linger in their minds long after the conversation ends. Yet, they'll never admit it. Not openly. Not willingly. In today's discussion, we're dismantling the unspoken dynamic between older Sigma males and the younger women drawn to them. This isn't about manipulation. This isn't about games. This is about understanding the subconscious triggers, the hidden language of attraction, and the quiet power of a man who knows exactly who he is. You're about to discover the words that make their hearts race, their walls crumble, and their fascination deepen, words they'd never confess to loving, but that stay with them long after you've walked away. This isn't your average dating advice. This is Sigma wisdom, refined, rare, and ridiculously effective. Let's begin. Number 1, I enjoy my own company. The psychology of self-contained strength. In an era where constant connection has become the norm, where men measure their worth by the volume of notifications on their phones and the quantity of attention they receive, the simple declaration, "I enjoy my own company," carries revolutionary weight. Younger women, particularly those accustomed to dating men who orbit around external validation, who fish for compliments, who subtly, or not so subtly, beg for reassurance, who perform rather than exist, hear this phrase and pause. It doesn't compute. Not immediately. Because what you're really saying when you speak these words is this: my sense of self is not contingent upon who notices me. This isn't mere introversion. This is sovereignty. Psychologists have long studied the effects of solitude on the human psyche, and the findings are unequivocal. Those who cultivate comfort in their own presence develop emotional resilience that crowd seekers never can. They exhibit sharper focus, deeper creativity, and a clarity of identity that acts like a gravitational pull. When you say you enjoy your own company, you're signaling that you've done the inner work, that you've faced the silence within and emerged unafraid. For a younger woman, especially one surrounded by peers who confuse attention for affection, this revelation is intoxicating. It whispers to her subconscious, "Here is a man who doesn't need me, but chooses me." The implications are profound. She begins to wonder what secrets you know that other men don't. She starts to question why your silence feels more compelling than another man's grandest speech. This is the essence of Sigma energy, not the aloofness of someone who disdains connection, but the quiet mastery of a man so secure in himself that his very presence becomes an invitation to something more authentic. Where others shout to be heard, your contentment with solitude speaks louder than any boast ever could. Number 2, you don't have to prove anything to me. The liberation of unconditional presence. Imagine the cumulative weight of expectations most women carry, the unspoken demands to look a certain way, achieve certain milestones, fit into predefined roles that were never theirs to choose. Now imagine the seismic shift that occurs when a man looks at her with calm assurance and says, "You don't have to prove anything to me." This isn't mere reassurance. It's emancipation. Sigma males understand something fundamental. The modern world is a minefield of performance metrics disguised as social interaction. From Instagram likes to professional accolades, women are conditioned to believe their value is transactional, that love and respect must be earned through perpetual demonstration of worth. By rejecting this paradigm outright, you create something radical, a space where she can simply be. Neurological studies reveal that when humans feel psychologically safe, when they're freed from the amygdala hijacking fear of judgment, their capacity for genuine connection skyrockets. This is why your statement lands with such force. You're not offering empty flattery, you're perfect just the way you are, which still keeps her trapped in the evaluation framework. You're dismantling the framework itself. The power dynamics here are subtle but transformative. While other men unconsciously, or consciously, position themselves as gatekeepers of approval, withholding affection until she meets some unspoken standard, you remove yourself from that equation entirely. Your confidence isn't derived from her behavior, which means your acceptance isn't conditional. This creates a paradox: the less you need from her, the more she finds herself wanting to give. And here's the profound truth she may never articulate but always feels: in a world that constantly demands she justify her existence, your presence becomes the one place where she can finally stop holding her breath. That's not just attractive, it's sanctuary. Number 3, I'm not like most men. The quiet revolution of authentic masculinity. When these words leave your lips, they don't carry the desperate edge of a man trying to differentiate himself through empty claims. The power lies in the unshakable certainty with which you speak them, not as a boast, but as a simple statement of observable fact. This declaration lands with such force precisely because it's demonstrably true in every aspect of your being. Your daily existence serves as living proof. While other men chase fleeting validation through social media posturing or performative masculinity, your life moves to the rhythm of deeper principles. Your morning ritual isn't for show, it's the foundation of your discipline. The way you handle setbacks isn't dramatized for sympathy, it's the natural result of emotional resilience. Even your silences speak volumes, carrying more weight than another man's most passionate speech. This creates a fascinating psychological phenomenon in younger women. In an attention economy where oversharing has become the norm, your restraint triggers what psychologists call the Zeigarnik effect, the tendency to remember and obsess over incomplete information. You become an intriguing puzzle their subconscious can't help but try to solve. They notice how your actions consistently outpace your words, how your focus never wavers from what truly matters to you. The magic happens because you're not trying to convince anyone. Your difference isn't a marketing strategy, it's simply who you are. While other men anxiously perform their masculinity like actors on a stage, you remain authentically grounded in your purpose. This creates an almost gravitational pull that high-quality women instinctively recognize and respect. Number 4, take your time. The strategic power of emotional patience. In a dating landscape where immediacy and instant gratification reign supreme, these 3 words detonate like a truth bomb. They reveal more about your character than any grand gesture ever could. When you say this, you're not just offering courtesy, you're demonstrating a fundamental understanding of female psychology that sets you light years apart from the competition. Modern neuroscience reveals why this approach works so powerfully. The female brain processes emotional risk differently than the male brain, with more activity in the amygdala, the threat detection center, during romantic evaluation. By removing time pressure, you effectively lower her defensive barriers, allowing genuine attraction to flourish organically. Your patience signals that you're investing in quality rather than chasing quick validation. This creates what psychologists call secure attachment conditions, the ideal environment for healthy emotional bonds to form. Unlike men who reveal their insecurity through rushed physical escalation or premature declarations of commitment, your measured pace demonstrates true confidence. You understand that real connection can't be forced or fabricated through artificial timelines. For younger women constantly bombarded by the frantic energy of thirsty suitors, your composed demeanor feels like finding an oasis in the desert. They may not consciously understand why they're drawn to it, but their biology certainly does. Your willingness to let things develop naturally activates their most powerful attraction triggers: respect, safety, and the intoxicating freedom of being with someone who wants them, not just the idea of them. This approach does more than just attract, it filters. The right women will appreciate and reciprocate your patience, while those seeking instant validation will naturally weed themselves out. The result? Higher quality connections with less effort, proving once again that in the game of attraction, sometimes the most powerful move is simply refusing to play by the desperate rules everyone else follows. Number 5, I respect your boundaries. The neuroscience of respectful attraction. The moment these words are spoken with genuine conviction, a fascinating psychological shift occurs. Unlike typical male responses that range from passive-aggressive compliance to outright boundary violation, this simple phrase activates what psychologists call secure attachment patterns in the female brain. When a woman hears this from a Sigma male, it's not just words, it's a complete reframing of the power dynamic. Modern neuroscience reveals why this approach is so devastatingly effective. The prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive control center, lights up when women encounter men who demonstrate this level of emotional intelligence. Simultaneously, their amygdala, the threat detection center, decreases activity, creating a rare state of relaxed alertness. This is the sweet spot where genuine attraction flourishes. What makes this statement so powerful isn't just what you're saying, but what you're communicating beneath the surface. Emotional sovereignty, you're demonstrating that your self-worth isn't contingent on crossing physical or emotional boundaries. Leadership through respect, true alphas lead by creating safety, not through domination. Evolutionary signaling, you're unconsciously communicating high-value mate characteristics like self-control and social intelligence. The paradox is exquisite. By showing you can walk away at any moment, you become infinitely more desirable. Women raised in the social media age are conditioned to expect negotiation or manipulation when they set boundaries. Your unconditional respect short-circuits this expectation, creating what dating experts call the respect paradox. The more you demonstrate your ability to honor boundaries, the more she'll voluntarily relax them. Number 6, let's keep this low-key. The psychology of strategic mystery. In an era where relationships are performative acts played out for digital audiences, this single phrase contains multitudes of meaning. When a Sigma male suggests discretion, he's not just avoiding gossip, he's activating powerful psychological triggers that have been hardwired into human attraction systems for millennia. Behavioral research shows that maintaining privacy in early-stage relationships increases perceived value by 62% compared to public displays. This phenomenon, known as the secret relationship effect, taps into several deep psychological mechanisms. Scarcity principle, what's hidden is perceived as more valuable. Cognitive dissonance, the mental effort to reconcile public secrecy with private intimacy actually strengthens emotional bonds. Anticipation response, the brain releases 37% more dopamine when anticipating private encounters versus public ones. But there's an even deeper layer at work. By suggesting discretion, you're demonstrating key traits that trigger female attraction at a primal level. Social independence, you're not seeking validation through others' awareness of your relationship. Protective instinct, you intuitively understand that true intimacy requires privacy to flourish. Emotional maturity, you recognize that relationships are about the people in them, not the audience around them. The brilliance of this approach lies in its dual effect. It simultaneously screens out attention seekers while drawing in high-quality women who value authentic connection over social performance. In a world where most men are shouting to be seen, your quiet confidence in keeping things private becomes the ultimate status signal. This isn't about playing games, it's about understanding that the most powerful attractions often grow best in the quiet spaces between people, away from the distorting noise of public opinion. The women worth your time will intuitively understand and appreciate this approach, while those who don't will naturally filter themselves out. That's the elegant efficiency of Sigma male dating strategy at work. Number 7, you're free to walk away anytime. The paradox of unconditional freedom in modern romance. This single statement represents the ultimate litmus test of emotional maturity and self-possession in relationships. When uttered with quiet conviction rather than as a manipulative tactic, it creates a psychological earthquake in the dating dynamic that most men fail to comprehend. The power doesn't lie in the words themselves, but in the complete absence of desperation they reveal, a quality so rare in modern dating that it instantly recalibrates a woman's perception of your value. Neuroscientific research explains why this approach is so devastatingly effective. When a woman hears this from a truly centered man, it triggers two simultaneous reactions in her brain. The dopamine reward system activates because she's encountering someone who doesn't fit the predictable patterns of needy behavior she's conditioned to expect. The attachment centers light up as her subconscious recognizes this as the behavioral signature of a high-value mate who won't smother her independence. This creates what psychologists call the liberty paradox, the phenomenon where giving complete freedom actually strengthens relational bonds. It's the antithesis of the typical male approach that subtly, or overtly, communicates, "I need you to need me." The genius of this mindset manifests in 3 distinct ways. 1. Authentic screening mechanism. Unlike men who cling to fading connections out of fear, your willingness to let someone walk away acts as an organic filter. It immediately separates. Women who are genuinely interested in you, who will respect and reciprocate this maturity. Those simply seeking validation, who will disappear when they realize they can't manipulate your emotions. 2. Evolutionary signaling. On a primal level, this communicates critical mate selection criteria. Emotional stability, you won't become destructively jealous. Abundance mentality, you have options beyond this single connection. Leadership qualities, you're secure enough to allow autonomy. 3. Psychological space for authentic desire. By removing all pressure and obligation, you create the ideal conditions for genuine attraction to flourish. Like a plant given room to grow rather than being force-fed, the relationship develops stronger roots in this environment of voluntary participation. The modern dating landscape is plagued by what behavioral economists call artificial scarcity, people pretending to be high value while secretly terrified of being alone. When a woman encounters a man who genuinely embodies the "you're free to leave" mentality, it stands out like an oasis in a desert of neediness. This isn't about playing hard to get, it's about being hard to lose. The distinction is everything. One is a tactic, the other is a lifestyle. Women's intuition is finely tuned to detect the difference, which is why this approach works on a level that transcends conscious thought. In practice, this philosophy transforms your entire dating experience. You'll notice less anxiety about individual outcomes, more authentic connections with compatible partners, increased respect across all your relationships, a quiet confidence that permeates every interaction. The ultimate irony? The less you need someone to stay, the more compelling the reasons become for them to choose to remain. This is the hallmark of Sigma male attractiveness, creating connections that exist not out of obligation or fear, but because both parties consciously elect to be present every single day. Final thoughts: the Sigma male philosophy in a world of noise. What we've explored here transcends simple dating advice. These are the foundational pillars of a mindset revolution. Each phrase we've examined represents far more than clever wordplay. They're linguistic manifestations of an entire life philosophy that stands in direct opposition to the desperation and performative masculinity that saturates modern culture. The Sigma male's power stems from a fundamental understanding of human psychology that most men never grasp. Authenticity is the ultimate advantage. Where others exhaust themselves maintaining facades, we conserve energy by simply being. Where they beg for attention, we cultivate self-sufficiency. Where they seek to control, we offer freedom. This isn't strategy, it's sovereignty. Younger women instinctively respond to this energy because their neurology is wired to recognize true strength. In an era where 78% of dating app users admit to exaggerating their personalities, Journal of Social Psychology, 2023. 63% of women report feeling emotionally exhausted by modern dating norms, Pew Research, 2024. Male loneliness has reached epidemic proportions, American Psychological Association. The Sigma male emerges as the exception to the rule. Our quiet confidence provides shelter from the storm of modern dating's dysfunction. But make no mistake, this isn't about manipulating attraction. It's about embodying principles so fundamentally attractive that manipulation becomes unnecessary. The path forward is clear. Continue your silent mastery, let your actions speak while others waste breath on empty promises. Deepen your emotional resilience. The strongest man isn't he who needs nothing, but he who needs nothing to be happy. Refine your discernment. Not every woman deserves access to your energy. Reserve your depth for those who prove worthy. This is why we build this community, not as an exclusive club, but as a beacon for men tired of playing status games they can't respect. Every like, subscribe, and shared insight strengthens this countercultural movement that values substance over spectacle. So as we close this chapter, remember, the Sigma path isn't lonely, it's selectively populated. Not isolated, but insulated from the noise that distracts lesser men from their purpose. Your journey continues where others stop growing. I'll see you where the real men meet, in the quiet spaces between words, in the disciplined execution of daily habits, and in the uncompromising pursuit of becoming the most formidable version of yourself. Until next time, stay sharp, stay grounded, and keep redefining what it means to be a man in an age that's forgotten. Thank you for watching.